With that, I want to thank you and turn it back over to Chief Medlock.
Questions for Chief Medlock? Yes, ma'am.
Doing in Metro Division, is that something that we'll start doing in the other divisions as far as trying to bring the burglary and those crimes down?
I think what you heard from Captain Bellamy is indicative of what is going on in every division. I don't think that the good fundamental police work that Captain Bellamy is doing is not being replicated anywhere else. It's going on all across the city and or the county in every division.
That 25% increase, was that in January or was that coming off of last year?
That was in January, first month, beginning of the year. We started with 25% increase.
Any idea why?
We have dealing with a lot of issues with people breaking into vacant homes, stealing copper. When the price of copper increased, we had that. And as well as we had just some people just breaking into property, and we've done a good job of identifying those individuals and aggressively going after them.
Providence Division looks like one where the residential burglaries were up. Is there a reason why specifically in those neighborhoods?
You know, I can't tell you specifically why burglaries would be up or crime would be up in one division over another. I know that, as Captain Bellamy said, we're finding that homes or neighborhoods that have homes that are either being renovated or being built, those homes are being broken into, and copper and appliances are being stolen. And so I think if you look at actually some of those incidents, you're going to see that a lot of those cases are a result of homes under construction or under renovation. The other thing we're seeing in burglaries is a lot of electronics being stolen, and it's extremely frustrating for us for someone to pay hard money, good money, for legitimate TVs from a retail store and then have that TV stolen, or the game systems or what have you, or laptop computers or computers in general, and then those items are taken and sold on the street. And I can assure you that if a person buys a $100 or a $200 flat screen TV from someone they don't know or from their neighbor, it's stolen, and they're contributing to the crime that's going on in Mecklenburg County. So just because you think you're getting a good deal on a stolen or on a piece of electronics, a game system for $50 or a GPS system for $10, I'm sorry, that's stolen, and the person that buys that is contributing to the crime rate. The other thing we found is that usually those people that buy those items and take them into their home are re-victimized because the person who sold it to them now knows that they have the TV or the electronics. So it perpetuates itself. So if somebody offers to sell you a $100 TV that's easily worth $1,000, an alarm system should go off in your head. You should turn around and walk away and just make do with what you have.
The numbers are comparing the first 3 months of last year. Do you have any trending for the previous 6 months or year to see what direction we're going in any of these areas?
Well, that's a pretty broad question.
Well, if you
Help me.
the first 3 months of last year, I don't know if it's an apples-to-apples comparison because there's so many other factors that go into it, but if you looked at, let's say, October, November, and December as compared to the first 3 months, do you see any trends in violent and property crime?
You know, now I get a little bit better handle. Yeah, we continue to experience the decreases from the fourth quarter of 2009 into 2010. The couple of areas that concern us, of course, are homicides. That's unacceptable, and we're doing all that we can to work with folks that we know might be high-risk victims for homicide or for being the victim of an aggravated assault that might turn into a homicide, to get them out of the relationships or out of the situations that they're in. We've done a good job of that, and unfortunately, you can't report the ones that didn't occur. But we've done really good work with that. The other thing that concerns us is the burglaries. Of course, we experienced in the fourth quarter burglaries going down. We now see a surge in those. Our arrests remain relatively consistent in burglary. We have virtually half of the people on our electronic monitoring are burglary arrests. So we know where our burglars are, but we also have some anecdotal information that when a burglar is arrested in a couple of cases, some of their friends have gone to commit other burglaries to bail them out of jail. And we learn this through interviews after catching these people that are doing it. So yeah, that concerns us a little bit, those two categories.
Do you find, especially in the burglaries, it tends to be repeat offenders?
Absolutely.
The same person committing over and over?
Thieves are thieves. They will steal whatever's not nailed down. They will steal, in some cases, they'll steal what's nailed down. And in a lot of cases, they're working harder to do criminal activity than they would if they just took a job and worked 40 hours a week and would probably make the same money. You know, again, we have, with the copper, the cost of copper, the price of copper going up, we have a lot of copper theft from anywhere, from air conditioning systems to commercial buildings where they'll go in and strip it out. And so those kinds of things drive the type of crime that's going on. Yes, ma'am.
In general, the city has some plan for the summer when the crimes are going up?
Well, you know, through the summer of last year, crime actually decreased. And so our plan this year is to continue that trend and have crime to continue to decrease through the summer. Yes, ma'am. We will put special patrols on the street. We will have officers working overtime. We will identify those neighborhoods that we think are most at risk or that have emerging trends in crime, and we will put the officers in those neighborhoods to deal with that kind of activity. If you remember last week, we had in the Steel Creek Division a young girl who was home from school who some guys started to break into her house. She called her mom. She and her mom called 911. Our officers were in that neighborhood because we had some other instances of burglaries going on during school hours. Because our officers were there, because the young girl and her mom were plugged in to dial 911 quickly, we were able to get there and capture four individuals who we believe are responsible not just for that burglary but for others. That's a success that day. We caught 4 guys. Unfortunately, that also was a burglary that goes against Steel Creek because they did actually break into that house. Yesterday, I'll give you another great example if you don't mind. Yesterday in North Charlotte, we had a gentleman walking his dog yesterday morning. As he's walking down the street, he sees a guy run out of a house, out the front door of a house with a laptop computer. And, that just didn't seem right to that man. The guy that comes out of the house jumps into a car. The individual walking his dog wisely had his cell phone with him, makes the phone call to 911. Our officers made that arrest less than 3 miles away because they were all converging on that neighborhood. And he did too in that neighborhood yesterday. He's been charged with both of those. We're investigating him for others because the description of that vehicle is one that we've been familiar with in weeks past as breaking into homes.
With those low-risk, high-reward crimes like burglaries, how much police work can you actually do? I mean, the 2 cases you cited were citizens who were smart and called 911. Obviously, there were officers in the neighborhood, but if they're breaking into homes when no one is there, you can't have an officer at every house. I mean, how difficult is it to not only catch it when it's happened, but prevent it from more from happening?
It's a great question, and I'll tell you, we cannot have an officer at every corner or on every street, but I'll guarantee you right now in Mecklenburg County, there is one person at home on every street in Mecklenburg County right now. We need people who, like these 2 individuals, sensed and saw that something was wrong, and they made the call to 911. They're the ones that know what people who live in the neighborhoods and on the streets and in their houses, they know when something is unusual in their neighborhood. We might ride down the street, see somebody walking, and unless we get a call for service or they raise our suspicion as being suspicious, we're going to pass on by. But the person who lives there, who's never seen that person on their street, or who sees the person walking from behind a house, they should be making that 911 call. We're the ones that will come and handle business. But we need eyes and ears of every resident, every citizen in Mecklenburg County to make those calls to us so we can get out there and take care of business and stem this. Good question.
Any more? Any for Captain Bellamy? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and Tim.